What's going on, guys? It's Bucketology, and I did not think it would be this soon that we were back with another video about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander himself. This is absolutely unbelievable what we are seeing from the kid in Oklahoma City to start this season. I said there were some question marks about could SGA and Josh Giddey play together, and we're definitely seeing some signs of improvement here. Going into Madison Square Garden today, this team scored 122 points in 3 quarters, generally on the back of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He makes it all possible. The amount of defensive attention this guy commands, even if the end of a play doesn't result in him scoring or him getting an assist. His presence is charging this team each and every possession they come down the floor, because you have to know where he is, and you have to know that it's going to go through him, and in most cases, you can't stop it. Leading his team in nearly every statistical category, besides rebounds. He's even second in blocks. He's getting 1.5 blocks per game to go with his 2 steals. He doesn't even lead the team in turnovers somehow. But yeah, over 30 points. The assist numbers don't jump off the page, but 30 points per game on 54% from the field without a second score. The second leading scorer on this team in points per game is Josh Giddey with 13.7. This is inhuman stuff. It's MVP level play. He's doing it on both ends. It just cannot be overstated when you look at the surrounding players on this team. I called them a bunch of bums. You know why I called them a bunch of bums? It's not because I don't think they can be good players in the NBA, but usually when you build a team full of young talent that is an unknown quantity, that does not know how to consistently put together wins night in, night out on a basketball court, like, where are the veterans on this team? The only player on this team that gets minutes that's been around in this league for a while is Mike Muscala. Like, guys that have been on multiple teams besides the obvious SJ. We're talking about the supporting cast here. Trey Mann is a second-year player. Poku has very little NBA experience. Lou Dort is one of the most experienced players on this team, and he's still a fairly young guy. And he was not one of the guys I was calling a bum. I'm just saying the contents. When you get beyond the first 3 guys on this team, it's rough. You might have playable NBA players, but individually, these are not guys that have been seasoned to the NBA, and you don't expect a roster like this to win basketball games, especially on the road against formidable opponents. They absolutely dominated the Toronto Raptors the other night, and they come into MSG despite giving up 48 points in the first quarter. SGA in the third quarter puts on a clinic, absolutely unguardable, and this guy's only had 1 bad game all season long. He had a tough game against Milwaukee. It makes sense. That's a championship winning team with a championship level defense. But take a look at what he's done. He has a 500 record in games he's played this year for a team that does not offer him very much in the way of scoring at all. It's on his shoulders to get it done, and he is efficient nearly every single night, maddeningly efficient. It is unbelievable stuff being able to carry a load like that and essentially have no weakness in your game. I mean, he's not really a great 3-point shooter, but that's not really something you can game plan for. He's not a guy you can leave open. It's like you can give him a little bit of space on the 3-point line, and he's still going to find a way to get to the paint. Still going to find a way to attract the defense and make the right play, and the right play is usually him getting a bucket. So back to the discussion of the best guards in the league right now. Steph Curry is playing 2022 Finals MVP Steph Curry basketball. The rest of his team is not, and that's the problem. Ja Morant has his team at 9-4 as I'm making this video, and he has been electric. But I think he has more weaknesses in his game than a guy like SGA. Just when you take a look at the defensive end of the floor. SGA is a much more sound defensive player. He might not be as devastating of an athlete, definitely isn't. On the offensive end, pushing the ball, he's definitely producing to the same level or greater with less around him. He doesn't have the luxury of a Desmond Bane playing beside him. Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland has been phenomenal this year. Okay, can't really take away anything from him. I can't really make the comparison him versus SGA this season. Obviously, SGA has less help around him, but it's not like Donovan Mitchell has been getting that much on the offensive end either. And Darius Garland, since he's come back from that injury, has been pretty brutal. Devin Booker is another guy that has to do a lot, and Luka, of course. But I think SGA is in that conversation right now. He's right there, the way he's playing so far. If this level of play is to carry on the rest of the season, if he doesn't get figured out, at least to an extent, I know that a guy this good is not going to just be shut down, but do we get to a point where teams kind of figure out how to guard him and this team just stops winning games? I do think there will be a point where teams can game plan for the Thunder a little bit better than they have been so far. But going on the road, getting a win in MSG, the Knicks, they're not obviously an amazing team, but they should be able to take care of business, especially at home. And winning on the road is not easy. It's not a gimme in any situation for any NBA team. So I want to give one last shout out to Mark Daigneault. I don't know how to say this guy's name, But what he's doing with this team is fantastic on both ends of the floor. Like I've been stressing, getting young players to play as a unit in the NBA game this competently, it's far from a gimme. And the Thunder should not be 6-7. It's not even 500, but they still should not be winning some of the games they are winning. If you just take a look at their team, SGA having to carry so much of the load that he does. But the guys filling in around him have done a good job of just doing their jobs and being role players, playing defense, and being a disciplined ball club. So that's going to do it. Had to show some more appreciation for the guy, SGA, and that's going to do it. Let me know what you guys think. It's been Bucketology. Peace.